I would think that it wasn't easy pursuing a career that is male dominated.
When you were in EIT, nobody used to take you seriously.
Yo, look at her. Go, girl.
And before we reach that point, I have practiced it so many times. It's unbelievable.
How are you doing?
I'm well. Just pushing through, getting things done. Yeah. I'm well. Yourself?
Yeah. No, we're surviving. So we're just trying different things. I don't like
this word surviving.
We are surviving. What can we do, man?
You look like you're thriving, so at least we fake it till we make it.
I wish I was thriving. Yeah.
We fake it till we make it, guys. Lina, we keep pushing, guys.
Hey, what can we do, man? Look, thank you very much for joining or being a guest to our Engineering in Africa podcast. So the whole idea is to have a podcast for engineers by engineers, and we talk about issues that affect engineers, talk about what you call situations that are happening in the whole engineering industry in Africa, not just South Africa. Yeah. So you are my third guest, and so the last two, yourself and my previous guest was South African, and then my first guest was a guy from the DRC. So so as I explained, I had like a couple of challenges with trying to frame like what we're gonna talk about, and I think I had a couple of ideas, and they were all sort of hovering around your side hustle, the DecantAir?
Yes, it's my side hustle.
Yeah, so it was hovering around your side hustle, and then and also it was hovering around like finding purpose in engineering, like when you feel like it's like these things are not working out, and like I don't know what to do, or like it's just not working out, and you feel like giving up. So I ended up phrasing like our discussion today to be centered around finding your passion as an engineer and the importance of perseverance. And then the second part is about becoming socially aware, being like a socially aware and responsible engineer. And the reason for the socially aware part and responsible engineer has to do with your DecantAir product, because like if you look at it, it's at least from my understanding, like it actually solves or talks about some of the social challenges that when we are doing product designs or solving problems as engineers, we need to think about, so, and I think the whole discussion, right, it's why I wanted to talk to you. It actually started with a discussion that I was having with one guy, like a junior engineer, sometime this December. All right. So basically, so I think, as you would know, I make myself available for junior engineers to mentor them and to try to give advice and so forth, right?
Career guidance of sorts.
Yeah. So what I've been seeing, or what I've been seeing with a lot of these junior guys, is that there's this specific trend that's happening, right? Where more and more of the graduates do not have like a clear goal on what they want to achieve with their engineering career. And if they do have like some sort of a goal, then this goal is sort of all over the place and it lacks direction. And I was having a discussion with one of my friends and colleague and close associate, and we were talking about this very specific issue, and our conclusion was that there is a serious lack of mentorship and role models in engineering.
True. Very true.
Yeah. And, you as my guest today, I feel like your journey of self-discovery, is sort of led you to, finding DecantAir and, finding your voice. And I think it's a very inspirational story to tell. And that's why you are my guest today. So my guest today is Ziningi Palesa Malinga. Am I saying that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So remember when I asked you to join the podcast, and the first thing that you said was that I'm not saying it verbatim, but what you said was that you are basically not the poster child of engineering.
Yeah, I'm not a good advert, right? I'm not a good advert for engineering.
Yeah, but I disagree because I'm repeating again, like your journey is like the sort of role, especially for like female engineers out there. Like I feel like it's okay not to have things figured out. It's okay like trying different things, and finding your voice and whatever, and it's very inspiring. So yeah,
one of the reasons why I say I'm not a good poster child for engineering is because there's a certain mold and a certain let's say a certain poster child, like the type of person that suits an engineer, a female engineer. They are supposed to be strict, formal, and they need to know exactly where they're going, what they're doing. I am possibly more of a creative than a strict person.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying I'm not much of a poster child for the profession. But here we are.
Here we are, and like for me, the creative, because I think, in the past 2 years, I've also not been a poster child for engineering, because I've sort of diverted into like the creative space and like creating. So we are the same, eh?
Yeah, break the mold.
We're the
mold,
same,
guys.
Yeah, we're the same. So so for our listeners who don't know Palesa or Ziningi, she is a mechanical engineer, and she got her mechanical engineering in UJ, and she works as a risk engineer, and she is the developer of DecantAir. So Palesa, can you tell me a bit about your journey of becoming an engineer, and like some of your challenges? Because I would think that it wasn't easy, being or pursuing a career that is male dominated.
Yeah. My struggles started in university. I was with Nkululeko University, and my struggles started way back then. It was a long, difficult journey, but And then I graduated, and I started working. When did I start? 2015. Yes,
2015. Yeah.
2015. And during that time, I was in EIT for a couple of years, and I was appointed as a risk engineer.
Yeah.
And the journey has been it was close-minded. You know how you're looking at everybody else in the industry, that everybody says, go PR range, go GCC, go PMP, all the same things. But I kept asking, will these add value for me? Will these add value to my life, to my growth? Is this where I want to go?
Yeah.
And I was mainly interested in things that people were not really all that interested in. So I did a lot of introspection. And through this journey that I was on in self-discovery, one of the things that I remember when we were kids, in the cartoons, there was always a mad scientist.
Yeah.
The mad scientist was an inventor. Yes, he was evil.
Yeah.
But he was inventive, and he would solve problems. And whenever I used to watch those cartoons, I wanted to beat that guy. That was something that I remembered. And then that sort of reminded me that, okay, I wanted to be an inventor all my life. This is my passion. And from there, I was able to now understand exactly why I studied engineering. I understood my role in the field and the fact that I'm not in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's just a matter of applying myself and finding other things. So during this time, looking for problems, looking for solutions, boom, DecantAir comes to mind. And trial and error. Trial and error.
But
There's a lot of trial and error.
Because I like what you're saying, and I think it goes very well with the intro that I gave. So first of all, you sort of had to figure out like this role model, like this mold, and you did not have a role model that fitted your aspirations of being like an inventor or whatever, and correct. I guess I don't think it's even a role model per se. I think it's this thing that, I just want to get the next promotion, or I just want to get that next job. So what should I do? What are the employers looking for? Oh, they're looking for a PR eng. Nah, let me go do a PR eng. They're looking for a master's. Boom, let me go do a master's, and then 5 years goes down the drain, or down the line, you look at yourself and you haven't moved, because you're sort of all over the place, and
you're a master of all trades. You're like you're doing everything, but you're not a specialist. You're not
that's right.
It's not your thing.
Yeah. And the second thing that you said is being an inventor. I think when I chose to be a mechanical engineer, I thought I was going to, design all these wonderful things. And
we thought you were going to be design superstars.
Yeah. And now we spreadsheet engineers. We're sitting there filling out spreadsheets. Like, how did that frustration make you feel? Like being a spreadsheet engineer.
It's funny that at the time, at the initial stages of my career, I was starting a family. So it sort of, it was the easy way out, because I was able to balance my personal life and my professional life. And I was mastering the spreadsheet engineer thing. So I thought, no, I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So everything is all right.
At the back of your mind, you still remember that, no, man, I'm working at 20% capacity. Something's got to give.
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
And, your journey, as you're saying, during varsity, you had, challenges, and then you went out of varsity, then you are in your career. And now in your career, perseverance, in varsity and in your career, played a huge role in your journey. And I would, because I would also think that even developing the whole DecantAir, there's a lot of perseverance, because you keep failing. So how many times did you feel like giving up, and what kept you going? Firstly, on the varsity, how many times do you really, really feel like giving up during varsity? And fast forward to the whole DecantAir, how many times when you were busy with DecantAir did you feel like giving up, and what kept you going?
Oh, let's start with varsity. My parents had this strategy. My parents had this strategy of saying, okay, let's try these 6 months. We'll talk at the end of the 6 months. That's how they dealt with me. That's how my parents managed me. So I guess that kept me in. I had backup plans, but they kept saying, no, man, let's do the 6 months and see how that goes. Then at the end of the 6 months, we reevaluate. They're like, it went well almost. Why are you quitting? Let's try another 6 months. And next thing you know, you are left with one module. There's no turning back now.
Because you've progressed so much, So what kept you going was the family support.
Yes, in varsity, I do not want to lie. It was my support structures. I have a very, very supportive family, and they pushed me. I would come back home every single week. I'd be crying, and my parents would be like, man, you're going to be fine. Let's do 6 months. So that pushed me through varsity. And I remember a few weeks ago, my father was saying, remember when you wanted to quit? Where would you be now?
And you were quitting every 6 months, basically. Every 6 months you were quitting.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. You remember? You were there.
I remember. Yeah. It was tough, eh?
It was bad. It was even after you guys left. I was still but.
No, so, I remember. Like it was. I think mechanical engineering, like, is too much. Like there's too many modules.
They squash too many things together.
Yeah, so you end up also feeling like, yes, no, this is too much. Like, I can't deal anymore.
So that journey for me, I think, but then again, it was through that journey that I built they call it character.
Yeah.
The character and the perseverance to just keep going. You never know what's at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I kept when I started working, I was in my I was at one station first, and then I was far away from home, and I had to fight to come closer to home. And during that journey as well, perseverance was another common.
Yeah.
Yes, it was another common characteristic that I had to keep pulling through. And eventually, I came this side. When I came this side to Gauteng, I realized I am the only black female EIT. So I have to stand up. I have to stand out to be noticed amongst these people, because at times you submit something, but because of, let's call it perceptives, perceptions or whatever, and people look at it and they just overlook you. So you end up having to perform 10 times harder. Again, perseverance coming through. So every day was a pull up your socks. Let's do this. Pull up your socks. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So during that time, to this day, every day is a don't worry about it. Just pull up your socks.
Just keep pushing. Yeah. Because I was going to ask that question that, I'll be honest, because I do feel that like black females, or let's say females in general, female engineers, they literally have to work like 10 times more than their black male counterparts, and the black males need to work 5 times more than their white male counterparts.
We have to do somersaults.
Yeah,
you have to do somersaults just to get your name, your meeting requests to be met.
Yeah,
you have to do somersaults just to have somebody listen to what you're saying from a technical point of view, instead of judging the way you're saying it. It's a constant retraining. I mean, I used to laugh about this. When I first came to the station, I had short natural hair.
Yeah. And
about a year or so ago, somebody said to me, when you were an EIT, nobody used to take you seriously. And then you started changing and you started wearing weaves. Suddenly people started listening to you. Was it the content? Or was it like, we're battling silly things?
I see, yeah.
We're battling silly things, but the output is still potentially a lot more than some of my counterparts.
Yeah.
But we move. We keep pushing, we move.
And so now
it's a structural thing which is not going to change now, but perhaps for our kids it will change.
Yeah. Now tell me, like, what's your advice now to the let's say females, because I feel like even white females, Indian females have sort of like the same issues that they have to deal with. Like, what's your approach? Is it a fight and recognize me approach, or is it a persuading and continuously being more of the person who is understanding, or like an understanding person, or is it a fighting person, or a combination?
You see, it differs from person to person, but for me personally, I found that my interpersonal skills are pretty well developed. And so I found that it was easier for me to first build relationships with my teammates from the various disciplines. First build the relationships and then get buy-in to get things done.
I see.
Because as soon as you go in with a mentality, you already built a wall around you. You've built a wall on top of a wall.
Yeah.
So first you have to break through the preconceptions. And then after you've broken through the preconceptions, now you have to fight through, she's an angry black woman.
Yeah.
So what I've seen works for me was first, let's build relationships, try to get to know people, see where their challenges are, meet them halfway, try to mitigate wherever you can. And over time, people start to, they're more willing to work with you once you have a relationship. This is what I've learned in my current situation, but there are other industries where it might not work. So one of the main things that I learned
okay, Palesa, I'm losing you. I'm losing. I lost you. I lost you there.
Oh, where did you lose me?
Before you were talking about your mentor.
Oh yes, one of my mentors is just be yourself. If you're a fighter, fight, and they'll get used to it. Because then, what she said was, she was a fighter to start with, but she came in and tried to be a team player and she tried my approach initially. But then after a few months, it's not you. So then the persona that you were putting up as a front initially, it wears you down as well.
That's correct. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't work. So rather be yourself, work with what works for you, and also feed off of your team members.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks. I mean, you cannot approach a man who's been there for 60 years the same way as you approach an a graduate engineer with 2 years experience.
That's correct.
They both have different misconceptions and different approaches to the system. So I would suggest perhaps just mainly be yourself, but read the situation, read the room. Yeah,
that's correct.
That's my biggest advice. Read the room.
I know, I agree 100%. I think that's a better strategy, than the fight. But fight, there's as you're saying, read the room. There's a point where you gotta fight. You're like, you know what? No. This person is just playing around. Yeah.
They're fooling with me.
That's right. You see. So now your DecantAir. So it's a dissolvable toilet deodorizer, right? So you drop it in a toilet, do your number 2, and it comes with 5 fragrances, and that's all I know about it.
Okay. And let me do my pitch.
So this is where now you pitch your innovative idea. Yeah.
This is my elevator pitch.
Yeah.
You think I don't get nervous about this anymore because I do this every other place.
I've seen your interviews. I'm like, look at her. Look at you. Go, girl.
And before we reach that point, I have practiced it so many times. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But so basically what DecantAir is a dissolvable toilet deodorizer. You simply drop 1 tablet into the loo before you do your business, and it will be like nothing happened. What it does is it traps the smell in the toilet and prevents it from dispersing throughout the room. So it comes in 5 flavors. We have original, which is fragrance-free. We have apple, lavender, peach, and orange. Yes, that's our brand. We have 4 pack sizes. We have a 10-pack for those who still want to try it out. We have a 20-pack, a 30-pack, and a 45-pack.
All right. So sorry.
And if people would like to buy, they can follow our social media pages or drop us a WhatsApp.
So you're distributing only in South Africa?
At the moment, yes. Because one of the major milestones for this year is product certification. So we need to get our product tested and certified to be A-OK. And then from there, we'll move on to now retail entry. And hopefully, after retail entry, we'll have enough muscle to start pushing beyond the South African borders. Because so far, we've received interest from a couple of countries. I don't know if I should mention names.
No, definitely. Yeah. It's engineering in Africa. Let's go.
Oh,
Let's
go. I've gotten interest from Lesotho. There's person there who's interested in distributing there. And there's also some interest from Switzerland. So we need to push. We need to push so we can get into these markets and make jobs, guys. Jobs.
That's
jobs,
it. It's all about jobs. And you're solving problems, And
yes,
what you're doing, like, I feel like it's exactly, when I was doing engineering, it's exactly what I had in mind to say, okay, when I do this engineering thing, I'm going to solve this big problem where I'm going to create jobs and I'm going to invent this beautiful product and so forth. And you did it.
Thank you. I don't know if we were in the same manufacturing methods classes, but I remember one time the lecturer said, manufacturing is the breadbasket of every economy.
Yeah.
That has stuck with me ever since that lecturer said that.
Yeah.
And I will never forget it. And from there, that's when I said, I'm going to do this. This I need to do. I didn't know how at the time.
Yeah.
And look at God. Look at God.
You did it. Like, it's done, And it's funny that you're mentioning that manufacturing lecture that you did at varsity. So I would think that your engineering knowledge, experience, and education played a huge role in developing this product.
Yeah. Yes, actually, it really did. Because I mean, if from layman's terms, if I had not learned product development, design approaches, development, design methods, manufacturing methods, I would have probably been stuck at the initial phase, which is the problem solving. Yeah. So from the background of studying engineering, I had a game plan, that design process that we learned in our third and fourth year. I used that and applied that in my design process for the product. We still apply in certain parts where we're improving our manufacturing processes to improve the quality of the product and our production efficiency, just to improve how much we produce per day, per hour, and so on and so forth. So even that's still playing a role in the business as it grows. And I would love to see it some more. One of the main aspects that I learned from my studies was the research portion. I needed to do a lot of research for this because it's more of a chemical product, and us, we didn't do much chemicals.
This was only first year.
Yes. But the research portion that we did really, really assisted in the methods that we used to then reach the point where we are, where I could try it out, trial and error, until I have the current product as it stands. Yeah.
So, and the current product as it stands, you had to be like socially aware, because it's like your product, the way I understand it, it's solving like some serious social and environmental challenges that we have, because I can already see, like, for example, if you look at like toilets, because I did my primary school in in the townships, right? And one of the things that used to irritate me was every time you go into the toilet, it just smells, and so, like, my son, my 8-year-old son, we went to again, like in the townships, and he used one of the public toilets, and when he entered the toilet, he was like, yo, it smells in
here.
I'm gonna
puke.
Yeah, and I'm looking at DecantAir as like a solution. Like it's a social solution that you're solving, and the great thing also is that it's an environmental solution, because now you don't have to use like air fresheners that can potentially have chemicals,
harmful chemicals,
for sensitive people.
Yeah, so one of the things that we need to certify is the sanitation perspective of it, because particularly the case that you mentioned, the bathrooms smell because of bacteria. So one of the certifications we need to get is to certify ourselves that we do get rid of the bacteria, and then from there, from a sanitation point of view, we are then able to manage that for not just public schools, not just, in the pit toilet market. There's still schools that have pit toilets.
Exactly.
Children are exposed to that. And this is a market that could not only save save people money, but it could also save their health, because that smell, it can't be healthy for us.
It can't
And
be.
with regards
Nah.
to, it cannot be. It's awful. Our body rejects it immediately. And with regards to the air fresheners, one of the driving factors is that my son is asthmatic, and whenever we were using air fresheners, we would see that he would have more reactions and more attacks during that time than after we stopped using air fresheners. Then we were like, hey, this guy. And I did the research only to find out that yes, there are chemicals that are not listed on the products that are harmful to us.
Wow.
But we are not privy of these, because we're not privy. We're not notified. There's no, dare I say, there's no legislation that tells the manufacturers to say this chemical is in here, therefore you shall be careful. But they are in there, and we are exposed to them. So this is just one of the ways we can combat such situations where people do not have to get sick unnecessarily.
Yo, Palesa, you're sitting on a 1 billion rand idea
again,
and
I
product.
I receive it.
Like I'm telling you.
I receive this number again.
Like I'm telling you. Like you're sitting, because this is not a South African problem. So that's why I was asking you about your distribution, because it's literally not a South African problem. It's an African problem, or even a world problem for that matter.
African problems solved by African people.
That's it. That's why we have this podcast, to say, listen, man, like, can't we, come up with our own solutions for our own problems? You know what I mean?
True, very true.
Wow, man.
Very true.
So, Palesa, mechanical engineer, solving serious social and environmental problems. And I'm loving it, man. I want to be an investor.
You want to play the game?
Ooh, I'm loving it. I can already see that billion. Rand.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I receive it. I just we need to get the ball rolling on some of the background work. There's still a bit of glitches in the background, but we're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, like the whole DecantAir brand, do you think that, or let me ask it the question two ways. Do you think that the brand and this whole DecantAir journey has made you become a more socially and environmentally aware engineer?
I would say so, because we are exposed to environmental awareness in our studies, but we don't really see the impact as much once we're in industry.
Yeah.
So initially my environmental awareness, I mainly gained it in industry, where in my section they mainly they are involved in investigations for environmental affairs and environmental excursions and such. Yeah. So that was the first time that I realized, environmental affairs are a serious issue.
Yeah.
The social stuff was more serious for me. And then when I started developing the product, I realized, no, man, the environmental stuff is also very, very important.
Yeah.
Because our water table, when I started looking at our water table, it's decreasing and becoming worse on an annual basis.
Yep.
So we need to find different ways to do the things what we're doing. And there are certain things that we cannot run away from. We cannot run away from going to the bathroom. However, the chemicals that we use in our bathrooms, in our sewage system, some of them, But
sorry?
Sorry, but in that sense, we need to relook at certain processes that we do to mitigate some of the things that we inflict on the earth on a daily basis.
Yep.
I don't know if I said it correctly.
It's a Khoasa varsity. Now we can tell I know
My parents will be proud.
They'll be very proud. Because I was looking at the Vaal River. The Vaal River had at some point the issue of the sewage from the Sidibeng district discharging to the river and like causing all this, like the smell, and I would love it if one day you tell me that your product actually kills some of that bacteria over and above
Listen,
like reducing the smell, you know?
This is part of the tests that we're doing to see just how effective is it from a bacterial bacterial efficacy is one of the directions that we're looking into getting certification for, so that we can then certify it as a disinfectant.
Yeah.
And then from there, people can also use it in their toilets as well. It would be a very cheap approach to using gallons and gallons of jik.
That's right.
When you can just drop a pellet and your bathroom is clean. So we're looking at various methods, but this is, as I said, the background work that needs to be crunched. I need to sit down and complete some of these things, but it's in the pipeline. Thank you.
Yeah. Hence,
I would love to see it as well.
Hence, I say you're sitting on a billion rand product. Like, I promise you, you're sitting on a billion rand product. Like,
you're a visionary, and I receive that.
My God.
Woo!
Like, you know what? Yeah. So before you go, we need 3 tips from you for the female, because I think, you know what, the target market or the target audience for this episode, I would like it to be, you know, the female engineers, and so that they draw like some sort of inspiration from you, right? So what are your like the top three advices for female engineers around perseverance, around being socially aware, environmentally aware, and actually succeeding in this whole engineering game?
Okay, the first thing is, as you said, perseverance. Don't give up. If you believe in something, and push it, not aggressively, but push it. If you believe you can do it, you'll definitely do it. We've seen countless women coming into this industry and doing great things. And on a daily basis, I'm exposed to females in our industry who are phenomenal technical engineers, phenomenal managers, phenomenal people who, because of their female aspects, they have a specific way they look at things that our male counterparts don't.
Yeah.
And that's what we bring to the party.
Yep, I agree.
Men and women don't see things the exact same way. I've noticed in our teams that the men are analysts, however, their analysis is very different from the female perspective of analysis.
Yep.
So there's always room for a woman in a team. Always room. There's never think that I have nothing to offer. Don't give up on yourself. You're part of the game. You can do it.
Yeah.
And number 2, be yourself. It's okay to be lastig and papalicious like myself. Just be yourself. It's one of those things where it can work for you and it can work against you. But then again, you won't please everybody.
Yeah.
And that's not the name of the game. As long as you get your job done and you're doing well, I don't see why you can't be yourself.
Yeah, because I think one of the mistakes that some female engineers make is that they wanna engineer or behave like their male counterpart.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love what you're saying, that, you know, just be yourself. Like, if you approach like problems like from a female like point of view, it's actually very good. Like, it sets you apart from your male counterparts as well.
Yeah, like, let's not say a female point of view. Approach things the way you see them.
Oh yeah,
because we all see things differently.
Yeah,
but more often than not, there's a trend in the way we see things as females.
Yeah,
and a trend as men see things as well.
Yeah.
So everybody has a part to play in every recipe. Somebody might be the flour, somebody might be the margarine, somebody might be the, what else goes into the cake?
Sugar, oil.
Sugar. You see, so all of those things are very different, but at the end of the day, together they make a lovely cake.
I agree.
So that's how we should approach team efforts as well in the workplace.
Cool. Number
Remember,
3.
you can be flour.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. That was number 2. Goodness gracious.
Number 2, be yourself. Number 1, persevere. Number 2, be yourself. Number 3.
Number 3. Goodness gracious. Number 3. It's a tough one, yeah? It's a tough one. Number 3, know your worth.
Okay.
Know your worth, because I've seen in the industry where people are willing to downplay themselves.
Yeah.
Just to get a foot. Yes, it's okay to do it to get a foot in the door.
Yeah.
But once you're in the door, know your worth. Don't allow yourself to be overlooked.
Mm-hmm. All right, Palesa, thank you very much. I did say that I won't take too much of your time, because you gotta go build that R1 billion company of yours, and make sure that you do your risk engineering and all of that, those good stuff.
Thank you so much for having me, Nkululeko.
And thank you for your time.
Thank you. I forgot to put in our social media details during the introduction.
Yeah.
Will we do that at the end?
Yeah. Drop your social media handles, and we will include it under our description, under the podcast as well. Yeah. So where can people find DecantAir?
Okay. So on Twitter we are at DecantAir. You spell it DECANT Air. And on Facebook we are DecantAir Dissolvable Toilet Deodorizer. And if they would like to place an order, they can WhatsApp us on 071 250 5220.
Okay, can you repeat that number?
071 250 5220.
Okay, perfect. And then do you have a website? Not yet.
Yeah, website is we have this online sales platform which is currently not working out.
Okay.
But I'm considering dropping it, but I'm not sure. But so far it has not worked out for us. But we'll see.
Let's talk after this. Maybe I can help.
Thank you.